couple of years ago, I was talking to my wife about expanding our current home and refinishing the basement. And we were talking about what we'd want to do down there and how much we'd turn into living space versus a bedroom. And just because we were outgrowing it, our kids were sharing a room, we needed more space. And my wife, being my wife, said, you should really talk to somebody about that first.
Get a quote.
See how much it's going to cost.
Right. So the first person that I thought about calling was Brian. Brian helped us buy the very first home, and it's a gesture that you just don't forget. He, as far as I'm concerned, he bent over backwards to make that deal go through, and he did everything inside of his power for us to sit down and sign on house. So he was the first person I called.
You know, we get these calls a lot, and one of the things that really stuck out to me is you can over improve a house, and that's what we talked about. Is you can put the money in, but will you get the money out?
Right.
And you know, we treat every client, you know, I've always said, you know, I treat your money like it's my money. And you know, the neighborhood, the demand, the price point that house was in, we knew that we had a market for it. And you know, a first house isn't always a forever house, and you know, new kids and new jobs and promotions, and we kind of looked at the opportunity, but there's always that obstacle of, okay, we can sell, but then what?
Right.
And that was what we decided to kind of work through. We knew we had our price locked in, right? We knew what we had to play with, and that was huge, because a lot of the times it's what causes the stress in a transaction is the uncertainty.
Yep.
And when you buy a house, you have a certain degree of certainty because you know the price, you know the rate, you know the loan amount, all that stuff's set in stone. When you sell a house, if you're trying to sell and buy at the same time, the stress is caused by the variables. You're not knowing what your house is going to go for, not knowing what you're going to get, not knowing what the next house is going to be. And we were able to eliminate that pretty quick because we knew the cash we had to play with.
Yep.
And that made everything else. Now we're just down. It was, okay, that house is going to be this much down. Here's your payment. Our motivating factors were we wanted KPS, right? So that was the other thing, is that our search was somewhat restricted because we wanted to make sure we maintained the promise, which we did.
Yep.
The other thing about that was we wanted the Kalamazoo promise, but we didn't want the Kalamazoo taxes, right? I remember having that conversation, and we were able to, with Optional, we solved that problem with, like, Jessica was on board.
Yep.
Too many times you see these transactions get like super contentious, and when you can have a transaction where we solve problems, where you know, people are friendly at the end of it, and everybody just works together and gets it done. It makes things just so much better.
Yeah.
This neighborhood could not be better.
Absolutely, hands down.
Love this neighborhood.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm so satisfied with this house. It's unreal.
Yeah.